Cool.
Well, hi
Great.
everyone. I'm Morgan VonHaden, and I'm the director of the South Dakota Statewide Family Engagement Center. And joining me today is Pam Lange, our Deputy Executive Director of Black Hills Special Services Cooperative, as well as Luke Wahl, Executive Producer and Vice President of Nickelodeon Digital Studios, and Ben Pluimer, who is a producer also from and director from Nickelodeon. So hi guys, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Hey.
So just to share a little bit about the South Dakota Statewide Family Engagement Center, we connect families, schools, communities to resources not only throughout our state, but also nationally. And during this crazy time of our COVID-19, we've kind of shifted how we've done some of our outreach to families, and we've been doing a lot more digital resources, and we've also produced what's called a daily digest to share out information to really get activities and stuff home for our kiddos. And when we're working on our daily digest and through connections, because South Dakota is a small state, small community, we heard about the Nickelodeon Town Hall, thank goodness for family and teachers, right? And we're just so excited to be able to have you guys with us today. And Ben is actually the alumni from Belle Fourche that helped put this together. So one of our local guys, love it. So Luke and Ben, could you please just share a little bit about yourselves and about the Nickelodeon Town Hall production?
Sure. Ben, why don't you go for it? You go first.
Sure. So yeah, South Dakota guy, moved to LA a while back to get into TV production, and then worked all around town, every place you could think of, and started working with Luke at Nickelodeon last September, I think. And for the most part, it's just regular production, making like fun stuff. And then COVID-19 hit, we all kind of went to shelter in place. So we had to figure out how to make content from our homes. And one of the ideas that came out was like virtual town hall for kids to explain what's going on, what is COVID, what is coronavirus, what's shelter in place, what's a quarantine like, why are our lives getting upended right now? And Luke put together a pretty great team to execute this thing.
I mean, it all came together really quickly. It had to, right? And making a show like this with everyone being remote really presented like a ton of challenges on its own. Just the coordination of getting everybody on the same page and how to move together as one team was really, really difficult. It was a major challenge. And Ben really spearheaded our organization of that. He was fantastic in keeping us all moving in the right direction. Yeah, the idea came about and it was on the air a week later. So it all came together really quickly. Thank goodness for Kristen Bell. Like the fact that she offered up her services in order to do that for us was just remarkable. Her performance in it was masterful. She's so kind, so awesome. It was such a pleasure to work with her. It was fantastic. And then we found groups, the families and kids through our own networks or, asking outright. And then we got the wonderful help of all our docs involved too. So it was really cool. And it was, look, everyone, here comes my kid. Everyone, here, Leo, want to say hi? Okay, thank you. Hey, thanks, Leo. So part of...
I say that this makes my heart so happy.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. That's part of it, right?
Oh
like
my
that's
gosh,
part
you
of the
just
challenge of
made my
making
day.
the show. And like we had to deal with this kind of stuff all the time. My wife, who just came in here, she has sacrificed a ton on her own the whole week too, and put her work on hold because we were working so darn hard. I mean, that was a huge part of it for us. So I'm kind of glad that happened because like you get a sense for what it's like to try to work together like that in this remote environment. So anyways, Kristen Bell's amazing. All the families are amazing. All the celebs who sent in videos, our talent team, we reached out to people and they were all so excited to send in messages. Everyone just came together in a way and they did it for the kids. And that's what we at Nick do. That's what we're all about. Everything we make is for kids. So.
Well, I know having 3 kiddos of my own, my boys are older and we watch a lot of Nickelodeon and we watched the town hall and we just loved it. And it touched on a lot of things that we had going on in our own world, but we know why it was important because like I said, it affects us. But why did you guys think it was so important to make this happen?
I mean, I thought it was important. I have a news background, right? That's part of my background. I thought it was important because we're watching cable news, my wife and I, and it's terrifying, the stuff that they're talking about. And they're using a lot of language that kids don't necessarily understand. So when you are a kid and you hear a bunch of things that sound really scary and you don't know what they mean, you need them to be explained to you. So we were hoping that we could get together and give kids experience that was, educational and informative, but also like uplifting. It was important that it inspired them. And so, that's was sort of our whole plan. And that's a hard tone to strike, but we thought we did a cool job.
Very cool. Do you want to add anything to that, Ben?
I mean, yeah, Luke summed it up pretty well, but it's confusing for us as parents. My kid isn't quite old enough. He's not even 2 yet. So he doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is that mom and dad are home 24 hours a day. And that's probably the best thing that's ever happened to him. On our side, we're juggling two parents working full-time jobs from the same home. We share this office room when we need to. So, but just the thought of like interpreting like what's going on, explaining it to kids in a way that would help them with like good information, a little bit of entertainment, and just like letting them know they're not alone in this, I thought was like a great message that we needed to get out there as soon as we could.
Thank you.
Yeah, as parents too, that is just one other thing that made me think of, my son's almost 4, and he says stuff to me like he says coronavirus. He wakes up in the middle of the night and said to me, we can't go outside because we might get sick, and it's really disappointing. Like he said that to me in the middle of the night. So, are my friends going to get sick? I don't know how to answer a lot of those. I don't know how to answer those questions. I'm not, trained to know that. So it was important to get with professionals who could answer some of these questions and give you an idea and a roadmap for how to talk to kids about it. And just sort of meeting them where they were. That's all, on their level.
That's awesome. Well, I know kids can say some fun things. Was there anything that kind of stood out more? Like, what were some of your favorite answers that you guys heard during this process?
No, I mean, honestly, the kids were all really bright and interesting. Like, I think all of the kids sort of were saying, there was no like kids say the darndest thing moment ever. Right. And honestly, we weren't looking for that anyhow. But like, it really didn't happen. All the kids were just sort of approaching it in this very like measured and intelligent way. I was so impressed by them.
Yeah, when we were reaching out to kids before we shot, one of the things that I guess they kept asking about like was the toilet paper, like the toilet paper situation. Like, are we going to run out? Is there going to be enough? And it was a topic that we had kind of thought about and dismissed as like, oh, we don't need to talk about toilet paper. But for all these kids, or like a majority of these kids, it was like a really important question because like such a big deal had been made about it. So we did a little segment basically assuring them that the toilet paper situation is just fine. We're all going to be okay.
That's hilarious.
It's important. One of my favorites though is watching the young man in the bow tie. He just made my heart happy. And yeah.
All the kids are great. And the inspiring group of kids at the end, there's that 7-year-old boy who makes the paintings, and he's supplied 19,000 meals, Ben? I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that. It was, yeah.
Come on. Like, that's amazing. Like, that kid's a miracle worker. Like, it's just so inspiring to see kids do that stuff too. But I think another thing that we do want to say that's really important is that there's my son again. One of the things that we were, hold on a second. One of the things that we want to make sure that everyone knows is that, like, yes, we highlighted some kids that were doing some incredible above and beyond stuff, but any kid who's at home sheltering in place and missing out on the things that were important to them, they're all doing their part too. So like, every kid who's missing out on something is a bit of a hero too. So they should be, we recognize how hard that has been for them, and we're proud of them, and I don't think that I think all kids deserve recognition.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like also just knowing that like no matter how old or young you are, like this is taking a big chunk of your life, a very important part of your life. And so kids of all ages are missing out on like really important things that for them might only happen once in their life. If it's like a graduation or something like that, or like their prom, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of kids are giving up some really important things to try to all come together to keep as many people healthy as we can. And I think that's pretty cool.
Well, now it's been a week since you guys had the town hall conversations. What has been the reaction from your partners and families?
I mean, it's been overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's made it. We worked really, really hard on this, and it feels. I mean, I knew it was gonna be worth it anyways, but the response from people all over has been remarkable, and we're really, proud to be recognized for that. It's cool.
Yeah, I think just seeing comments on Facebook posts or even on Twitter, like Instagram, like every place that we posted this, seeing like comments pour in of parents being like, I watched it with my kids, it helped us so much. Seeing them like share it with their friends was a really cool feeling. And it's like, we make stuff and we put it out into the world. It's like, we're just, I didn't expect to be like touched as much as I was by like the positive comments about our show, because yeah, we did work really hard. And it was really cool to see it come together in a way that we were really proud of.
And I think, Ben, you had shared in an email with me that you had like something like 30 or 40 people that worked on this from their home, and it all came together. And generally you would have that on set and you could all be working together. So that's pretty incredible to make all of that work and first time ever, environment in a week turnaround. I didn't realize it was a week turnaround. That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I like to brag to Luke that in like something like this had probably literally never been done before. Not even probably. I don't think anything like this had been done before. Like, sure, people have turned around shows quickly and got them on the air, but like a crew that's used to like working together and at least in the same office or on the same set in the same control room is now spread out over cities and time zones, all trying to work together to make this thing happen. And so super challenging, kind of a miracle that it turned out as great as it did. But, with the team that Luke put together, I think we had a really good chance of pulling it off, and we did.
That's awesome. I know, Ben, we said kind of at the beginning that you were a South Dakota kid. So as you were developing this, did you ever think about the differences of those kids that are in the LA area versus kind of in South Dakota, and what did that mean?
Yeah, it was, so we're entering, I think, our 4th week of shelter in place in LA. It's mandatory masks outside. It's everything has been closed down. It's, social distancing has been kind of the law of the land for a while now. And so it was interesting to watch other states not doing that. And just what a different experience they were having with it. Just even talking to friends who were still going into the office and going to work, kids who were still parents who were still taking their kids to daycare. That like stuff like that was, the experience for them is so different than what's going on out here. And, I wish we were all on the same page at the same time as a country, because I feel like that would help squash this thing even faster. But, I hope for the best. I hope that, everyone's as safe as they can be. So I know that, cities are doing what they can now, but it is a very different experience out here in LA.
Is there anything you want to say to our South Dakota kids or families out here?
Oh man, like be safe, be healthy, wash your hands, stay in contact remotely with the people you love, and hopefully this will all be over really soon and we can try to get back to a more normal life.
Good.
How about you, Luke?
South Dakota kids should all know that Ben was the MVP of the show. So be like Ben if you want to work in TV.
Yeah.
I love it.
So thank you to the South Dakota educational system for allowing us to make this show.
Well,
Thanks for making it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ben and Luke. I just thought this was awesome. So thank you again for taking the time with us today. We are the South Dakota Statewide Family Engagement Center, and here to support home learning during this challenging time. So everyone, be well and be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much for joining us today.